Okay, let's dive right into this one. Today, we're looking at a truly heartwarming story of love, hope, and unbreakable loyalty. Literally, it is one of the most profoundly moving stories of animal devotion we've ever come across. If you've ever loved a dog, or honestly, even if you just appreciate the sheer power of an unbreakable bond between a pet and their human, this is going to resonate deeply with you. We're following this incredibly emotional dog story about a faithful golden retriever who held a relentless 7-day vigil outside a hospital. I mean, this isn't just your standard heartwarming pet story. It is a masterclass in dog loyalty. It's a beautiful illustration of why these animals hold such a uniquely sacred space in our lives. So we're going to break down the timeline, the emotional toll, and the absolute incredible climax of this story that has captured the hearts of USA dog lovers and people all over the world. So picture this for a second. Put yourself right in the middle of this scene. There's a cold, unforgiving, heavy downpour cascading down the concrete steps of an old hospital entrance. And sitting right there, completely exposed to the elements, is a golden retriever. He's soaking wet. His golden coat is just darkened and heavy with the rain. Now, hospitals, right? They're busy. People are rushing in and out, desperately seeking shelter and warmth. And naturally, pretty much everyone who saw this guy told him to go home. The staff, visitors, passersby, they all tried to shoo him away, honestly for his own good. But he absolutely refused to budge. He just sat there, completely anchored to that spot, staring right at those sliding glass doors. I just want to pause here and let this quote really sink in, because love doesn't understand the word goodbye. I mean, wow, that hits hard, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the essence of this unbreakable bond. See, as humans, we rationalize things. We get schedules, we understand medical emergencies, hospital protocols, and the whole idea of a temporary separation. We know what goodbye for now actually means. But a dog only knows presence and absence. They operate purely on instinct and this profound, all-encompassing love. To this golden retriever, leaving that spot would literally mean abandoning the most important person in his universe. So his refusal to leave, that wasn't stubbornness. It was just pure, unadulterated devotion. Now, to really understand why he's sitting out there in the freezing rain, we kind of have to rewind a bit. Flashback to his elderly owner, who is clearly unwell, standing right at those very same hospital doors. But right before he goes inside, the man bends down. He wraps his arms around his golden companion for this long, gentle hug. It's one of those quiet, super intimate moments of connection that, if you have a senior dog or a cherished pet, you immediately recognize. It's basically a transfer of comfort. The dog completely senses the gravity of the moment, feeling all the anxiety and all the love from his owner all at once. And right in the middle of that embrace, the owner whispers these exact words: "I'll be back soon, buddy." Now look, dogs obviously don't speak English, but they absolutely understand tone, intent, and promises. That whispered sentence, that was a contract. It was a promise made by the owner, and for the dog, waiting right there was simply him fulfilling his end of the bargain. He wasn't just casually waiting around. He was holding on to that promise for dear life. Those words were literally the invisible tether keeping him anchored to that concrete entrance, no matter what the world threw at him. And you really start to grasp the sheer scale of this dog's endurance when you map it out chronologically. Because this wasn't just, waiting outside a grocery store for 20 minutes. This was a brutal, multi-day ordeal. From that rainy goodbye on day 1, dragging through a grueling, agonizing week, turning into freezing snow by day 6, and finally reaching the climax on day 7. It was an absolute physical and emotional marathon. It completely proves that this is a dog who just never gives up. Just think about that number, 6. For 6 straight days and nights, this dog did not leave his post. Imagine the physical toll of that. The hospital staff, whose hearts were literally melting for this animal, would quietly come out and leave bowls of food and water beside him. But, and this is the truly heartbreaking part, he barely touched it. His appetite was completely eclipsed by his anxiety and his laser focus. Instead of eating, his eyes were just constantly darting around, searching the face of every single person walking out of those doors, desperately hoping that the next face would be the only one he cared about. And the contrast here is just staggering. On one hand, you have the environmental cues rapidly worsening. The rain turns into freezing snow, the temperature absolutely plummets, the wind is howling. The world around him is getting increasingly hostile and dangerous for an animal left outside. But against all of that, his devotion remains completely unshaken. He just curls up into a tighter little ball, tucking his nose into his tail to conserve whatever warmth he can. He's adapting his body to survive the brutal conditions, sure, but he is absolutely not adapting his mission. The environment is wildly unstable, but his loyalty is rock solid. The weather changed, but his heart never did. Honestly, when we talk about a truly inspiring dog story, the kind that unites pet lovers everywhere, it all boils down to this unwavering steadfastness. Human relationships, let's be real, they can be conditional sometimes, right? They get influenced by time or stress or hardship. But a dog's heart, it just operates on a totally different frequency. That bitter cold and the falling snow were completely irrelevant to his internal compass, and that compass was pointing straight toward his owner inside that building. By this point in the week, the dog had become so much more than just a pet waiting outside. He had basically become a hospital institution, a true silent hero. This quiet, daily display of loyalty deeply affected all the people around him. Every single nurse on shift knew his story. Every visitor walking in to see their own sick loved ones recognized him. They would stop, crouch down, pet his snow-covered fur, and honestly, a lot of them would quietly wipe away their own tears. In a place that is so often filled with medical anxiety and uncertainty, this dog became this living, breathing symbol of hope and pure, unconditional love for the whole hospital community. And then the tension finally breaks. We hit the 7th morning. The sun is coming up, casting this fresh light across the hospital entrance. Those automatic sliding doors, the exact same doors the dog has been hyperfixated on for over 150 hours, slide open. But this time, it's not a nurse coming out, it's not a stranger. A wheelchair slowly, carefully rolls out onto the pavement. The long wait is finally about to end. And what happens next brilliantly illustrates the sheer instinctual power of a dog. It's like a split-second chain reaction. Step 1, 1 heartbeat. You see this sudden shift in the dog's posture, his ears instantly perking up as he catches a familiar rhythm. Step 2, 1 smell. Even before his eyes fully process the wheelchair, his incredible sense of smell catches his owner's scent on the crisp morning air. And step 3, the absolute undeniable realization that his best friend is finally home. It's a sequence that happens in a literal fraction of a second, totally bypassing logic and going straight to the soul. Suddenly, all that somber, heavy waiting is just shattered. There is zero hesitation. The dog absolutely explodes from his curled-up, freezing position. All that pent-up energy, all that week-long anxiety instantly transforms into pure, unadulterated joy. He practically sprints across the wet sidewalk. His golden tail is wagging so wildly that his entire body is shaking with it. It is just this glorious, fast-paced release of a week's worth of worry, all captured in one beautiful dash toward that wheelchair. And the collision of these two best friends is just beautiful. The owner reaches out from the wheelchair, buries his face deep in the dog's fur, and just hugs him impossibly tight. All around them, the hospital staff, the same people who had been feeding him and crying over him all week, are just beaming. It's exactly like the quote says, no words, no explanation, just a hug that said, "I never stopped believing in you." The dog didn't need a medical chart. He didn't need an apology for why it took so long. He just needed his human back. The image we are left with is nothing short of cinematic perfection. The old hospital, the heavy rain, the freezing snow, all of that is entirely behind them now. The wheelchair moves down the path, and right there, trotting faithfully side by side with it, is the golden retriever. They're leaving together bathed in a warm sunset. It's a perfect picture of restoration. The pack is reunited. For this loyal dog, the universe is finally back in balance. Which brings us to the core takeaway of this whole story. A dog's loyalty isn't measured by days, it's measured by a heart that never gives up. We tracked his wait for 7 days, sure. But let's be honest, he would have waited 7 weeks, or 7 months, or 7 years. Time is a human construct. True loyalty is boundless.
This isn't just about a dog waiting outside a building. It's a profound reminder of the massive capacity for love that these animals actually possess.
So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a thought. Do dogs just love us, or do they choose us every single day? When you see a golden retriever weather a freezing storm for a week just to see his owner again, it really makes you realize that their devotion is an active choice. They choose to wait, they choose to trust, they choose us completely and without condition. Think about the pets in your own life today and let that incredible realization really sink in. Thank you so much